Thank you very much. I'd like to begin by highlighting the findings of our... Thank you. I'd like to begin by highlighting the findings of our simulations of the Ukrainian energy system. First of all, we can see that 100% renewable energy can be realized in Ukraine by 2050. Secondly, that can result in a lower cost of electricity. Thirdly, we can guarantee with 100% renewable energy the reliability and stability that is needed in all 8,760 hours of the year. So why do we want to do this? Of course, we all know our motivation is to mitigate climate change and to stabilize global levels of greenhouse gas emissions. And certainly improvements have been made, decreases in emissions have been made over the last few years here in Ukraine. However, some of those decreases have come for all the wrong reasons. Population has decreased, GDP has decreased, and living standards have decreased. I'm sure we can all agree that improvements need to be made. Of course, when improvements are made in those areas, generally we need more energy. And more energy means potentially more emissions. So these improvements must be made in a sustainable manner. So how do we get from the current system that we can see in the upper diagram that's based on fossil fuels and nuclear power to one that's dominated below by renewable energy? To measure this transition of the energy system, we used a tool of our own design at La Peranta University of Technology. What this tool does is look at the energy system in 5-year time steps and attempts to find the pathway of least cost for the entire transition. We have to start by looking at how people use electricity. What is the hourly demand profile of an individual area, such as the Ukraine? And the diagram on the left there, I probably should explain a little bit. Red means high demand, blue means low demand, and of course it'll start to make sense when we see that the early morning hours when everyone's sleeping, the colors are blue. So we see 24 hours a day going up the y-axis and 365 days a year going along the x-axis. We see highest demand in the evening hours, generally between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night, and in the wintertime. Demand is much lower, of course, in the summertime. Once we have this demand profile, then we can start to see what will be the total demand for each 5-year time step. And what we've done is projected an 8 to 10% increase in electricity demand at the same time as achieving higher levels of efficiency over those 5-year time steps. This is a little picture of our tool as it can be represented. We start with a number of different renewable energy sources and define their potentials. We look at possibilities to interconnect with neighboring countries, and this is quite important in the analysis that I did on Ukraine, is that I didn't use this function. I defined energy independence as being complete because I wanted to see if the energy system could operate all on its own. So all solutions were domestic solutions. No energy in, no energy out. Aiding those renewable energy sources are a number of options for storage. Together, these will help satisfy demands. In this case, I looked only at electricity, but the tool can satisfy other demands such as industrial gas and desalinated water. We are currently working on adding other energy sectors such as heat and mobility, which will be very important to look at in the future in an integrated way. So here are the results. What we see over the short term is that the model chose to install wind capacity as older coal power plants reached their lifetimes, and on the longer term, as nuclear facilities reached their lifetimes, they were replaced by solar panels. By 2050, the amount of energy produced by wind and solar is approximately equal and totals roughly 86% of total electricity generation. The remainder of that will be hydropower, biomass power plants, and gas turbines. Storage will also be